We're on. Meeting is now live streaming on YouTube. Hi, friends of the human race and all that nonsense. It's me, your best friend in the whole wide world, Saurabh Pant. And today we have amazing guests for you. But before that, let me tell you about Vikas Dubey. Vikas Dubey has been arrested in Ujjain. Okay, so I don't know how many of you are following this Vikas Dubey story, but please update yourself because I'm going to talk about it in the stream because it's just from start to finish, it's an absolutely insane story. I mean, he took the lives of a lot of people. That's obviously a fucked up part. But I'll tell you what we have for this whole week. Tomorrow, we have Nishant Tanwar, Rahul Dua, and we're confirming one more guest. On Saturday, we have Atul Khatri and Zakir Khan. And on Sunday, we have Biswa Kalyan Rath, Kumar Varun, and Ramchandra Guha. And I have a feeling that a lot more comedians are going to be popping in on that. Going by how the response of this has been, which has been quite good, there is a very high chance that we're probably going to do this on a regular basis. So at some stage, I'm going to ask you guys about what days you prefer of the week, whether you're okay with me doing this on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or whether you prefer Friday is Saturday and a Sunday, 11 o'clock in the morning. Why 11 o'clock in the morning? Because that ensures that I don't lose out Zoom shows which pay me actual money in the night. Good morning to everybody. Again, keep the chats going. Raghav Sharma, Juhi Shah, Arshab Ali V. Change series name to Takleya Streams. That would be very confusing. People will think that it's like some kind of boat substance. Rider OP, hi to everybody, man. Hi, all you guys. I'm going to keep the chat going and I'm going to keep trying to take your questions and asking the guests of today some of those questions. Again, Super Chat is very much on. So if you want to get your question up top, please put in Super Chat. That'll be much quicker. Good morning to all. I don't have a wig. Sorry, Aditya Konkar. I don't have a wig. I have not prepared for the wig today. Anyway, I'm going to tell you about my guest today. There is Daniel Fernandes, who I'm sure most of you know. Daniel has a YouTube channel, Daniel Fernandes. He's also one of the few Indian comedians who released a entire stand-up special online. And he's actually a very innovative fellow. We'll talk about that. We also have Sharul Channa, who is from Singapore. Very funny comedian from Singapore, and she's toured India as well. Really fun person. And we have Dr. Jason Leong, who I have to understand why people in Malaysia keep trolling him. He's a comedian, and we'll talk about him as well. So we've got international comedians today, so from Asia, friends. So without any further ado, please give mental round of applause for Daniel Fernandes, Sharul Channa, and Jason Leong.
Hi, what's friend. Up, guys? What's up? What's
hey. Up? Hello.
Hello. Hi, guys. I had nothing better to do, so that's why I'm here.
Yeah, I can't find the stream on my YouTube. Why is it not on YouTube?
It's there on YouTube. It's already streaming.
So I'm on your channel right now.
Yeah, it's on the channel. It's already there. Dude, Jason, you look like you're about to start a top 10 BuzzFeed list with the background that you have. You're all ready to go.
Yeah, there's a cute story behind this. Actually, all this equipment was donated by a fan of mine. He liked the stuff I did on YouTube, and he thought, you know what, Jason, you look really horrible. And he literally donated like all this for me. You can't tell, but there are 4 different lights. So yeah, it's.
I thought he donated a blue cardboard that you just placed at the back. I was like, some cheap fucking fan.
You're wearing red shorts, yeah, Saurabh?
Always red shorts. It's my perpetual this thing. Dude, I also want fans who will just donate me shit. Look at my background. It sucks. So can I borrow Jason's fans to just get this stuff going? Anyway, how are you doing? Jason, I love the fact that you have got your own whatever the fuck that is in the bottom screen. Like, oh my God, that is so well done.
It's called a desperate vanity overlay. It's so that people know. If people don't get that I've mentioned my social media handles 5 times per hour, then they can read it at the bottom. Like, hey, that's me also.
Okay, I'm going to keep tab of the fact that if you mention your social media handles 5 times in an hour or no. I'm going to keep count. Let's see how long this goes, but I think at least 7.5 times is what it's going to be.
Yes. Anyway, I'm doing good. I really miss India. I went to India I think twice so far, Mumbai and Delhi. And just listening to you guys talk with your Desi accents make me miss the place a lot more.
The
Hey,
food,
Saurabh.
right, Jason? The kind.
Saurabh, I thought, sorry, Sharul. Saurabh, I thought you were drinking alcohol.
I have right here. I'm just gonna have some coffee and then.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay,
This
so
is
yeah,
dude.
champagne at 11 in the morning. Dude. That's how we do the lockdown, bitches.
Dude,
Cheers.
this is sparkling wine which I had like 4 days back. Jason's not consuming anything. He's like a doctor. He's like, I don't like this kind of shit.
Yeah, it's not good for your health, guys.
I'm having coffee and sparkling wine, both at the
Jason
same
is
time.
sounding like an Indian dad now.
Yeah, that makes it better. Coffee and alcohol. But yeah, I really miss India. And what Sharul said is true. I miss the food.
Because you know that many times we went after like the comedy festival, and then we would just end up at that Punjab Sweet House. Is that the place? And we would be there all the time.
Yeah.
Punjab Sweet House.
No, you know
Or
the
was it-
other Punjabi food place, which is like really like if you climb up to the second floor
Arey,
and
that place in Hill Road, yeah. Saurabh, that's more
Papa,
Pals?
Papa Pancho.
Not Papa
No.
Pancho, no. What's that place that's open late in the night? Fuck, how can the both of us not this right?
I mean, because we get all our food now. It's not like all these people who just come
I
and
know,
Sigri.
Sharul, I know.
no,
Basti says
it's
Sigri,
a
no.
Punjabi place. It's like
That
small,
dhaba.
I
So
think- yeah, it's a dhaba. You climb up to the second floor
I
and
know what you're talking about. Yeah, I can't get the name.
You know, people like Daniel and me, you know, we don't frequent dhabas.
I mean, we usually go to the Marriott, yeah, Marriott.
suck
go to
my
yachts.
non-existent dick, both of you, please. Thank you.
God.
You guys
Wait,
got
are you guys talking about the Melbourne Festival and the food after, or some other festival?
No.
Stop
This
being-
was the
Yeah, no,
Pajama
not
festival,
Melbourne. This
right?
is India. And remember how many times we landed up there and you always asked for
Oh.
dal? Was it something that you kept asking for, Jason? Was it you? Or one of the
No,
other
not me. Because I wasn't invited for this festival actually.
Oh, Shazia Mirza. Sorry, not you, babe. I just mistook you for Shazia.
Wait
Yeah,
one second.
this
You
was a
mistook
lo-
Jason Leong for Shazia Mirza. That is like a real stretch, man.
Yeah.
It's the wrong gender. It's the wrong
That's
country.
positive racism also.
Our material is widely overlaps each other.
Okay, let's take a
Rabi,
couple of
yeah.
couple of these things, and then I'll just introduce like get some updates from you. People are convinced that Daniel is from Nepal. Vertigo has asked, "Is Daniel really in Nepal? Eager to meet him?" No, it was just me making stupid jokes, man. Daniel, are you from Nepal? You want to clarify this?
Yeah, totally. I was born in Kathmandu in 1984, and then I fled because there wasn't enough oppression in Nepal. I said, no, I need more heat. So let me go to a country where I'll get fucked for who I am. So then we moved to Saudi. And that was a little too extreme. My dad was like, no, this fucking shit is too much, dude. We can't see the chicks. Like, they're all covered all the time. This is pointless. How am I going to raise my son in an environment where you can't see the ladies? So we like...
Dan, is that your pussy calling you out?
Oh God, Sharul is 2020. You're still doing the same. Like, you know, when you go to an open mic and you see a comedian with potential, and for the last 6 years, they've been doing the same joke. And as a comic, you're just like, matlab, usko, why?
Okay, Danny Podcast Rocks is what Sati Singh has said multiple times. People
Guys,
are
one
saying
second,
donate to
we
Saurabh, he's poor. I completely agree, donate to me. And cat OP has already started. People are very excited about Daniel's cat. That's cool.
So the reason being that I have a new addition to the family. So we have my 4th cat. We have 4 cats now.
Wow.
Okay. They're having breakfast right now. So give me like a minute. I'll introduce you to the newest one.
Oh wow, please
Okay.
do, man. Pankaj Moria asks, hi Jason, do they still have politicians in Malaysia who can take jokes? And Syed Khalid asks, Apa Khabar Dr. Leong?
Okay. Yeah, Kaba Bae. Was the question, are there politicians who can still take jokes? That's a question, right?
Yeah.
Well, there are, but unfortunately, they're all in the opposition right now. So for those of you who may not know, Malaysia changed government on the 9th of May 2018. And after 22 months in power, there was a coup where some of the then government politicians, they jumped ship and caused the new government to collapse. And now we are kind of back to the old regime. And for the past few months, there's been a lot of stifling of differing opinions and dissent. So it is a very dark time in Malaysia right now, but I'm very happy to be on this podcast.
sounds like a.
It's the best segue I've ever heard in my life. Like
Yes. Yeah. So
second to Sharul, is that your pussy? Sharul,
Yes.
I still give you
Yes.
props for is that your pussy?
we work on our
Listen.
segues before we come on.
Talking about governments, let's talk about Sharul. You want to talk about the Singapore government? I'm sure that's like allowed and everything.
Yeah, of course. It is completely. I mean, the elections are going on. Tomorrow we're going to elect a new government. We don't have to. I mean, we're just doing it. It's, you know what? We just like to go and draw cross and play tic-tac-toe, right? Of course, PP is going to win. But we're just trying to see how we can push in some opposition people so they can just keep questioning the government. But it's crazy, right? Because it's COVID going on, the community cases are rising, but they still want to do elections. So we're like, okay, fine, let's go for it. But the thing is, I think they made a mistake because now everybody is so free to do jokes. Like everybody's trolling everybody. Like it's so fun. Singaporeans have suddenly like found the computer, laptop, and their just fingers. Everything is just working like this.
Sharul, can I ask, as your neighboring country, so you say that the PAP will win, which is the governing party now, but
Yes.
is there like a slimmer of hope that the opposition, the Workers' Party, will gain a lot more seats than it previously had? Or?
Yes, of course.
Okay,
because
that's good.
a lot of things have happened in the past, like 3 weeks.
Oh, I see.
Like there's because of course there's a lot of dirty stuff happening as well, right? They're trying to go back to everybody's Twitter account, and there's this lady called Reza Khan who said she's from the Workers' Party, and she said something about how the majority Chinese people get preference over something. Someone took that out and had a police report against her. So we're actually really following India. I mean, we're trying, but baby steps.
Yeah, but it's so interesting. Like if you like, and I'm sure all of us have toured all across Southeast Asia and the world. It's so interesting where you think that your country is like not oppressed, but your country has issues, and then you go everywhere globally, and you're like, dude, every country has a variant of it in some form.
Except America. I think America is doing just fine.
But now with America, it's the cancel culture, right? Which is effectively reached a point where it's like
America is enjoying their greatest time of peace. No protests, no racism, no cops killing innocent black people. It's a good time to be in America, I think.
And they've got amazing healthcare.
Yeah, amazing healthcare, which is totally free. So once things get better, I'm definitely flying to America. That's the first country I want to visit. They've got the best prime minister in the world. He's the best, guys. He knows all the words. Like, I don't think any country in India has a president, that knows all the words. We know few words.
Speaking about touring around and getting to know other countries, I was actually very surprised. And of course, slightly ignorant that India is actually has a much more vibrant democracy than I thought you guys had. Because like I see on the media, like jokes or takes which it will never be possible in Malaysia or even Singapore.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, they can say anything. I mean, they can say mostly anything. Jason, when I went there, and I'm like, all these comedians doing like fantastic jokes, but then even their politicians joke really well. I think I feel so jealous of India because every day there is one chutia saying such chutamatic things, and you guys have so much to talk about.
Chutamatic is the word of the day, dude. Chutamatic is great.
Chutamatic is chutiagiri on autopilot.
Yes. Oh my, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Hey, how did your clothes get washed? I use the new Chutamatic machine. It gets all the stains out. It's
tumble dry.
I Google what's the meaning of chutia so I can laugh at the joke also. Okay,
no, but you guys have done research because you were here. I'm sure that's the first fucking thing that Indians taught you because we get very excited about teaching people whatever. But okay, people have a few questions. Sharul has been, Vipin Nair is asking Sharul about her uncle from Gurgaon. And
oh my God, he remembers.
Shubham Kumar says, love Jason Leong. And somebody's asking, is he an actual doctor? Then somebody's saying, love the on-gambling Chinese people built by Jason GMS. So yeah, these are questions to you guys, man.
Listen, I've known Jason a long time, and sometimes I wonder if he's an actual comedian, let alone doctor. We're all confused, guys. We're all confused. Guys, champagne. Don't.
It's great. It's way easier to pretend to be a comedian than it is a doctor because if I make a mistake as a comedian, then nothing happens. But as a doctor, you kill people. So yes, I worked as a doctor until 2014. Then I've been fired. I quit, and then now I've been trying to do comedy full time and trying to get Daniel Fernandes's approval.
But you see, the thing is, the weirdest thing, if you've performed with Jason, if he's before you or after you, he has this coughing spell backstage. So you're going to go on stage and Jason is like, like he does this every show. And you're like, fucker, how are you a doctor? Go get yourself checked.
Yeah, I did actually. It's just a very mild case of asthma where because of the nerves and anxiety, my lung, my airways will spasm. So I get coughing fits. But the fucked up thing is when I'm on stage, I don't cough at all.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah. It's just off stage. He just makes other people nervous. Like you want to.
No. Jason, last one. When you're
Okay.
on stage,
I knew it was gonna come. Okay. Go again.
When you're on stage, you don't cough, you choke. Last time.
Jason's left. He's done. He's like, fuck this shit. I'm out of it.
Sorry.
I'll be honest,
guys. I'm done. Also, by the way, guys, this is the consequence of not getting on stage for so long. We all have this pent up comedic energy that needs to come out somewhere.
I need to.
Daniel's crying. Fucking asshole. My bastard.
Can I own up something to you guys? Like I want to tell you this, but I don't think I would. Do you think the South Asian men population will be able to take the next thing I say? How open are they? Is it going to go crazy? Like Saurabh, you tell me. Can I say anything?
I mean, you can send it to us in chat and then we can see
Sharul, you can say anything. Only 5 people are watching.
There's about 630 people watching.
And only one will care.
And one will care. But yeah, okay. Before Sharul says what she's about to say, I think I just want to say that I don't stand by her following words, whatever they may be. I don't know what they are. Daniel, Jason, it's up to you to decide whether you want to side with Sharul or whatever.
Viewer discretion is advised. We are not responsible for what she's about to say. It'll probably have the word pussy in it for sure. But
it'll be great if the punchline is something about Leong. Like that'll be like just to add to the pussy feel. Just to Leong and pants. This is done. We're done. We all have this. Okay, Sharul. Here's Sharul's thing, which nobody will stand by except Sharul. Let's go.
So basically, because I haven't jumped on stage and or had any other experience outside because of lockdown, and now phase 2 has started. I started some classes, for something else, and I went to this center and they were offering a blowjob workshop. Wait, okay. Now, I have signed up for the blowjob workshop and I'm really excited. And my study material is a dildo and I have to get a dildo now. Have you guys heard of this? Does it happen in India?
no, I mean, I think it makes sense to have a blowjob workshop because some of you are not doing it right and we don't know how to tell you, hey, try a little, range in motion and some variations and stuff. So whoever this innovator is,
Sharul,
Yes.
is the lady who's teaching the course Daniel's mom?
Bring on the pussies.
Hey, but Sharul, I think the lady who's conducting the course is a Chinese lady, right? She has come to Malaysia before for talks.
No, I think
so
she's
basically
Nepalese.
it's Jason's mom.
Oh God, we've degenerated very fast to the office spec scripts.
This is the level of comedy COVID-19 has deprived the Indian audiences, guys.
Okay,
I
but
can't wait to go for this workshop. So
No,
you
but
get
one
jokes.
sec. Sorry. Sharul, just give us more information. Who's conducting the workshop? Is it on Zoom? Will the video be on?
No, it's a live workshop and meant to go in. You're meant to go in. Of course, you wear a mask. Once you're in this class, you need to have a study material, which is like a life-size, life feel. I think it's called something. It's a
Dildo lah.
dildo, but it's got a name where it feels like it's a real dick. And you're meant to learn how to give a good blowjob. Now, it blows my mind. Like, I came home, I signed up for it and I came back home and I was just like, I can't wait for this. Like, can I have...
So are there other students as well? Like, have you attended a class? How many sessions is it?
One second, Daniel is very suspicious because he asked, are there other students as well?
No, I'm just saying.
He's trying to imply something else altogether.
One second. I'm just saying because I also have a podcast now. Let me just get all the information. Now I'm recording tomorrow. So
Sharul, I have to
let
say,
me do my
but
research.
your husband Rishi is a very lucky man.
No, but you see, the thing is, I told Rishi that, you know how this is practical. So you need to, once you learn it, you should have as much practice as possible.
But have you not been practicing all these years? What?
I don't know if I could. I don't know.
Because Rishi will lie to you.
but hang on a second. I imagine that it would be a little tricky to go to your partner and say, "Hi, I've just signed up for blowjob classes." Because as a guy, what the fuck do you say to something like that? Like,
So I told Rishi, this is what Rishi said. Rishi's like, if this is an excuse to get a dildo, I will never stop you. Go get it. I'm like, no, this is not the excuse, because I told him I need to order a nice dildo for myself. And he's like, dude, you don't have to do, what are you talking about? And I'm like, no, it is a workshop and this is my study material.
but
And
doesn't the
I-
dildo come
study-
with instructions? But you don't use a dildo for blowjobs, do you?
Yeah.
You could. Where are you guys living?
No, as in, why would you?
As in, why would you put a dildo?
One second, so
Man,
I'm
you're
sort of
so easy
picture
to
this.
educate you, bro.
Hang on.
I'm just trying to
Ed,
picture this out, okay? So you are with your husband and you're like, hey, listen, I've learned blowjob class. And he's like, and you're like, okay, here's the dildo. Now watch. And that's it. And he's like, go fuck yourself. I thought this is something.
I mean, it's a great TikTok video, but
No, but it's blowing my mind. It's blowing my mind, guys. Since I've signed up, I can't wait for this workshop because
What if this said that's like amazing that you didn't know till like before?
I didn't. And okay, so
Also-
then I found out there's an orgasm workshop, there's a blowjob workshop. And so they asked me which one you want to join. And I'm like, I don't need the orgasm
there's
workshop.
some Chinese lady who's really taking Singaporeans for a nice fucking ride. Dude. She's just targeting all the parts of the reproductive system and going, I'll do a workshop on this. I'll do a workshop on this. Hey, what's
Sharul?
this cow-like
Yeah.
structure? Yeah.
Sharul, is this by Dr. Martha Lee, clinical sexologist?
No, but she messaged me. She messaged me on Instagram. She said, can you do my Zoom video? We're having a sex orgy session. Babe, who the fuck is this Martha Lee? She messaged me and I told her, and I thought babe, just for the sake of it, I gave her my email address. I said, I want to know more because I'm like, I want to write some jokes, man. But then I blocked her because I got scared. What if she's a
Why?
scammer?
No, she's a real clinical sexologist. She came to Malaysia for a few talks. I've done a few events with her, but with none of the teaching stuff lah.
She wanted me to
Jason,
host an online orgy, babe. I didn't know how to take that. I was like, what am I getting?
Online
I don't want like
orgy?
comedian Sharul Channa. Yeah, because there was a sex festival for Zoom.
Damn,
there's a
Singaporeans
sex
are getting
festival. Wow.
Singaporeans are getting it on, man. Malaysia's got none of this shit.
So is
Yeah,
the
because
sex festival, Sharul, I have a question. Is the sex festival the ultimate goal? So you have all these workshops, so you get to the festival and you do it right.
I'll
Is
do
that-
my own festival and then only have comedians on that, man.
And
then
after
all
the- after
10
the
men
sex-
and me
Sharul-
and Aditi
Sharul-
Mittal can be on it.
Sharul, listen.
One second. I have last question. After the sex festival is done, do you guys go to a Punjabi restaurant on the first floor to have dal?
Black dal tadka. That's because all lives matter.
Oh, I
Sharul,
thought I thought it
No,
was dal
because-
makhani because when they put the cream on
black
top.
because black lentils are bigger than yellow lentils.
Absolutely.
Is this
And by the way, just
is
on the
this
side,
sex festival-
I gotta ask Jason about Martha Lee, and I gotta ask Sharul way more questions because this is just the tip of the iceberg with this thing. I went and I just googled randomly Singapore blowjob classes, okay, and that's not a good idea to Google right now because I should have gone on incognito mode before doing that, and nothing shows up. So I just have a feeling that Sharul, I don't think this is a real class.
No, it is. I signed up for it. I'll show you the email.
just because you signed up doesn't mean it's legit? What the fuck?
It's a legit.
Listen. Sharul, I replied to a Nigerian prince's email. I still haven't seen the $5 million.
Fuck you.
or something.
I paid for babe. I am telling
Okay,
you.
sure.
Show you the email, okay?
Yeah.
Dem chibai say your. Dem chibai.
Jason, who is Martha
Ibai
Lee?
means
and-
cunt.
Who's Martha Lee and what shows have you done with her? So she does corporate
No,
shows
okay.
where she talks.
Okay.
Aiyo.
Fuck you all. Suck each other's dick. Okay.
Okay, fine, but
Okay.
Can't
that
see.
doesn't look legit at all.
Fuck you.
That
Chibai.
looks like the logo of the Riff Comedy
You're
Club
just
in
showing
Hong
us a
Kong.
bill. This could be a bill for anything.
What does it say?
It says blowjob, handjob class.
Listen,
$30.
Sharul, just take a screenshot and post it on the WhatsApp group, so we can see it.
Okay,
Slap Dance Studio.
Yeah, there you go. Slap dance studio where they're like, first thing you do, slap it. And then
I hope all your dicks fall off tonight at 12 o'clock. Wait, give me a minute.
I have to
India
confirm
time
that.
or Malaysia time? Okay, so anyway, to answer Saurabh's question,
Oh, sorry,
So-
sorry to interrupt you. Just one second. A few people are very excited on the chats.
Course they are.
Monish Ahuja, thanks a lot for your super chat. You're always very nice and kind. And he said it should be titled "Wake Up with BJ." He thinks that's the title of this? People are saying, is that Sharul, you paid for something, you could have learned it for free. Hey, that's a cliche joke. At
Yeah.
Hey
this
guys,
point,
this is legit, dude. It's legit.
there's somebody who said something
I
really
am not
funny.
kidding. I paid for this class. I'm going for it.
It's $30 for blow/hand job. So it's not just blow. So it's you're using two parts of your body, your lips and your hand.
I'm good. Babe, imagine the jokes that will
my
come out of
mind is
this. I
blown.
cannot wait.
this is the greatest podcast in the history of podcasts.
Yeah, dude.
Wait, it's podcast.
Podcast.
So just to clarify, Sharul, this is one session, right?
It's only one session. It could last for 3 hours because nobody else will. So then we'll learn. I learn. It's been so fun.
3
The-
hours.
Hey, but one second. If you guys are using dildos, how will you know if you're doing it right?
That's my next question.
There's only one way.
And my concern is, Sharul, I'm sorry for being sexist, but it is a woman
Oh,
telling
that's why you lost me. That's why you lost me, Jason,
No,
because I
no.
know you're
Hey,
going to
one sec. This is
Listen,
legit. This is legit,
listen.
Jason. Yeah.
It's a woman teaching a blowjob class and it's dildos. Shouldn't there be like a man involved somehow to see it and go, yep, that's a good one. I would come to that.
I have a feeling that they're going to ask us for some feedback after. Like, how was it? Customer satisfaction. Like, I have a feeling that I was telling Rishi, I said, you know what? This could be the new, I can't hold
Yeah.
the mic on stage anymore, but
It can't be that big.
I'm not talking about a Malaysian dick. I'm talking about Rishi's Indian Sindhi
Even
dick.
then, if he's can't be that big.
Hey, please,
Okay, so
hey, come home first.
Okay, one sec. I think we have hijacked Saurabh.
this is
Poor
by the way, this
Saurabh
is the
looks like he's
weirdest-
been kidnapped. podcast.
This is I love this invitation that Sharul just gave to Jason. It's like, come to our house and see Rishi's dick. That's the invite she gave, which is your first engagement after the lockdown ends, is to
Okay.
come to the house.
But Jason
Guys,
is like, bitch, I've done
guys.
so much more with this dick.
Yes.
What is this come to see? Just to see. I've already
Guys.
done so much more.
When I go to Singapore to perform gigs for Sharul and Rishi, I sleep in their actual bedroom. Like
Yes.
like you would think that when they ask me, hey, come and sleep at our house, you have your
That's
own
true.
room or at least a couch. No, they make me sleep in the same room, and I'm like, wait, I'm like,
One sec, Jason,
Wait,
one
Jason,
sec.
wait, I'll
yeah.
tell you something, Jason.
Wait.
The first time I ever messaged Saurabh and I ever chatted, I very casually slipped it in and said, hey, Saurabh, yeah, you're coming. You can sleep on the mattress in our room. And I think Saurabh, do you remember this?
I think so, yeah. I think so.
And I went, and I think Saurabh was like, fuck you, fuckers. I'm a professional comedian. I need a hotel room. What the fuck is she offering me?
Yeah.
But then little does he know that GB, Labrador, Jason,
Yeah.
like everybody's been in the room.
Hey, but to be fair, Jason, when I visited Singapore and Sharul and Rishi invited me over, they gave me my own apartment. Yeah, I don't know why you are sleeping on a fucking mattress. I
Yeah.
got my own apartment, dude.
yeah,
And
what
by
the
the way,
fuck, Sharul?
this is moments after Sharul said that Martha Ali sent her an invite to know about orgy sex class or whatever the fuck. And so, yeah. Okay, Jason, I want to know about Martha Ali. I want to know who Martha Ali is and what she does in like corporate shows and stuff like that. Who's this lady?
Okay, so BFM, which is a Malaysian radio station, they have they have like programs where they talk about health and whatever. So they invite this Dr. Martha to come and speak about sexual health and all that. And every year they have a BFM health and living event where they invite professional speakers to come and talk about all various topics regarding health. And I was the MC. So I was emceeing the event, and this Martha Lee she said that she conducts erotic classes in Singapore, like techniques on blowjob, like hand job, communication with the partner. So she is for all
I thought
intents and
that's the order of things. It's blowjob, handjob, and then communication.
no. It's how I recite it in my mind. It's how I recite it in my mind. It's probably in a different order. So she is quite legit. So I thought that she was the one who was organizing the classes.
Yeah,
And Sharul, she DM'd you on Instagram saying that she wants you to be part of some.
She wanted me to host it, and I took a screenshot of it. I sent it to my friends. I laughed a lot. I was like, "Fuck, man, this is funny." And then I went like, "No, wait a minute. She seems legit because there is an address which was 69 something road," and I was like,
Nice.
she really took this seriously. You know, it starts at 69, and maybe she takes her work really. You know,
What's
so I was
the
like,
concept of this online sex festival? Just people undressing, or how
I think they were going to discuss about sex. I didn't get to talk to her because I got too scared. I blocked her. I didn't know, like, I didn't want
No,
to get
she's
into a
legit.
scam.
No, she's legit. I think she's very sincere in her work. So
Oh shit!
I
Then
think
look at my face. Like, she must be thinking I'm such a bitch. Like, she thought I would be the person to host this festival, and I blocked her.
yeah,
Unblock her.
unblock her and message her lah. She's cool.
Oh fuck, Dr. Martha Lee. Okay, settings. Shit.
Sharul's taken the okay, Daniel, you do a lot of corporate shows. Have you ever had anybody who's like, can you imagine in like the Indian setup, like barring a vagina monologues or something like that, for somebody to be like in a corporate setup talking about like sexual health and wellness and all that kind of stuff?
No, never. I think the only outlet we have in India for sex, like viable sex advice, is Dr. Mahinder Vatsa on Mumbai Mirror. Besides him, nobody in India talks about sex. It's just a myth that is being propagated by the left. Okay, sex is a myth in India propagated by the left. So no, I've never. I'll tell you the weirdest corporate gig I have had though is a gig that had about 300 scientists. So I was like, okay, 300 scientists, this is my audience. They will get all the jokes. These guys are smart. They obviously will understand everything. And go up on stage and I bombed for 20 minutes flat, dude. Like, they fucking didn't laugh at anything. It's just like, you fucking smart people.
Oh my God, guys, I found it. I found the message. Can I read it out?
Yes, please.
Okay, so this is the message from Dr. Martha Lee. She said, would you be willing to support my virtual sex festival for Asians by Asians? Thinking of asking you to present or curate a session for me. That's where I got scared. I can send you more info. My email is da-da-da-da-da. If I can have your email, I can send you more details. Now, when someone tells you to curate or present a session in a virtual sex festival for Asians by Asians, how?
It's just a talk. She wants you to present a topic that you like or whatever. She's not asking you to have sex.
You could talk about your favorite thing, a pussy. I don't know, like take a
Whatever.
cat.
The four pussies.
Sorry, go on. Sorry.
No, go, Daniel. Daniel, go.
I just honestly, jokes aside, I think this is super progressive because there's no way this would happen in India. And if there's one thing that all of us need sessions on, it's all of these things, blowjobs. I mean, not me, not the guys, but like
you need a blowjob session for sure, Dan.
There should be a session for guys on how to go down on a woman as well, because I think 9 out of 10 men don't know what the fuck they're doing. So
what's going down? Sorry.
Are you the last 1 out of 10, babe? Is that what you're trying to say, Dan?
No.
You
said it for me, Sharul. But point being, I just think it's super progressive.
And can I just say, and I'm not trying to carry Sharul's balls, but I think of all the women that I know, or at least the women I know in Singapore, to do this, you're the best candidate. You have this image of an outspoken progressive feminist. This is a good thing. You should do this. If I may mansplain why you should do it.
I got a bit scared because I thought I was going to be part of a scam, and then my face would be all over the place.
But I agree with Sharul, because if somebody sent me that message, I'd be like, what the fuck? I think if she had at least given an introduction saying, hey, this is Dr. Martha Lee. I am a sexologist approved by the government of Singapore, toured across Brunei, like whatever, then I'd be like,
I thought an Indian guy trying to spam me because his name is Martha. So I'm like, kitni baar, I was thinking Martha.
Yeah, but no, Saurabh, It'd be
Enjoy
better,
that.
like it's like Dr. Martha Lee and the MBBS, the FRC, and all the alphabets after that. The more alphabets it is, the more legit it is.
Okay, got to take some chats. Anand Pandey says, thank you, Saurabh Pant, for bringing these hilarious people in super chat. Lijo Daniel has given $10 saying Khan Masti plus these guys would be epic. I agree, dude. Khan Masti plus Sharul talking about blowjob classes would, like, if you've ever listened to Khan Masti, like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but anyway, that would be fun. Daniel, how's your lockdown going, man?
Super fun, dude. As in, like, it took a while to get here, but now I'm used to it. And I think that what I'm really happy about is I'm gigging again. So I'm doing Zoom shows every weekend. I'm doing the podcast. They're going well. So I am in no rush for a vaccine to be found now. I'm just like, take your time. Dude, it's so much better. I don't have to take a flight. I don't have to check into a hotel. Don't take a cab to the club. I just have a shower, put a t-shirt on, get on the couch and do stand up. It's nice. So my apartment right now is my home, my office, my comedy club, my lounge bar. It is everything. So it's going.
Nitin Ahuja has said, "Hey Daniel, do you know what the sun sign is that cigarette has? It's cancer." And he's said it with great gravitas.
Nitin, there are open mics on Mondays. Take those.
Dude, I don't know if you guys have been following the story, right? So in India, we had somebody say that, and this is like people who are trying to figure out the cure, and they said that we're going to find the cure by August 15th, and it's because it's symbolic for India, right? And so and everybody's like, dude, how are you going to test an entire vaccine by August 15th and figure it out in time for our Independence Day? And I'm like, it's such a weird thing to say. Like, everybody's like, this is a scientific thing which is based on medicine. Stop adding emotional context to it by saying that, hey, listen, we'll launch it on Independence Day and suddenly it'll be more relevant.
We've got independence from the virus, guys. Like, also fun fact, by the way, the world record for the fastest vaccine is 4 years. That's the earliest we have ever developed a vaccine. It was a vaccine for mumps. So we have a long way to go. So
when was this?
I don't know the year exactly, but I know that that's the fastest we've ever developed a vaccine. The previous vaccines have taken anywhere between, say, 10 to 21 years. Right now, they are fast track. When they say they are fast tracking the vaccine, I'm sorry, Jason, I know you're the expert, but I read this. So
okay.
But this nugget of information is that because there are many people trying to develop a vaccine now, so they basically have more horses in the race. There is a hope that they might find it sooner. So they are targeting 12 to 18 months, but that means that there will be some shortcuts taken. So they are trying what they will do is they'll try to rely on information that they already have about the SARS virus from I think 2000, whenever that happened. So there are many people trying to do it, but there's no chance in hell we are making it on April 15th.
Let's get a medical opinion on this from the expert out here. So, Dr. Jason Leong, can you ask Sharul Channa what the solution is?
I knew it!
But see, I did it roundabout. I didn't go like, hey, let's go to Sharul Channa. I said, why didn't you ask her?
Hey, so Sharul, when do you think we'll get a cure for COVID-19?
So according to the astrological sign and my personal astrologer and my chakra, and honestly, my sacral chakra tells me that the first, when Mercury retrograde stops happening and everybody is in alignment, we will definitely get a cure. No, fuck guys, I was so scared for India. I was reading this article by India Today, and it says that India might see 2.87 lakh COVID cases per day by Feb, and I think it's pretty scary. Are you guys scared?
I mean, honestly, the weird thing is that I think most most of me and my friends have the privilege of having a house and like a sort of community and stuff like that. But it is, dude, I went out to repair my laptop, okay? And the complete lack of social distancing. So I was walking and had my full mask and everything, and like I had asbestos on top of my head just for safety, and I had cement in my nose, all the precautions that one can take. And I'm walking, and the number of people that brushed past my hand was like 6 in a span of 7 minutes. Because I don't think we are not used to the very concept of social distancing, and I don't think this is an India specific thing. I think it's an Asia specific thing. Like
Right, no
even
personal
in
space. Like people don't know how to.
I think globally as well, in the States and stuff, people are throwing parties to see who can, like in the United States, the far right actually believes that COVID is a hoax. They don't wear
Yes.
masks. They are fighting with their local councils to not wear masks.
yeah.
I want to tell a very quick story of when I was in because you Sora mentioned social distancing, right? And how it's not it's a concept alien to some people. I was in the I'm not pronouncing correct. The Akshayadam temple in Delhi.
Yeah.
Akshardham, yeah.
Akshardham.
Yes. Okay. So I was lining up, and it was a day where there were not many people. Okay. So I was lining up to get in, and this dude, taller than me with a beer belly, he just ran behind me while waiting in line. He insisted on shoving his belly into my back.
So basically,
turned
you were with Atul Khatri.
No, I turned around and said, "Excuse me, just move away." So he moves back, and as the line progresses, he shoves his beer belly gut into my back again. And there's nobody behind him. There was no need for him to shove his beer belly into my butt. So I
the
had to
logic is in India is that if the gap is this much, then somebody can sneak in. Because if I see this much gap, I'll just put my finger between the two of you, and eventually my whole body can sneak inside. So
And
you
then
just have to reduce the gap to that amount because you become like a cement wall. Yeah. Go ahead.
And then if you put your finger in it, then you by the law and the rights of the land, you are now in front of the queue in front of him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the law. It's written in part of our entire constitution.
Yeah, we were so intimate. I think we got married, man. After that.
So okay, as a doctor, what kind of doctor were you?
Just a bad one. No, that was I didn't specialize. I worked. I did my housemanship. Then I worked in the emergency department for a bit, and then a government clinic, and that's about it.
You know what? Once I have a story of this guy. Okay, so Rishi his appendix was gonna burst. Okay, one day. Okay,
fuck off.
And so this guy was still working at the hospital. It was like the local hospital, and Rishi they didn't know at that time it was his appendix, right? Rishi was having stomach cramps and all of that.
Yes.
So Jason is like, I will bring Rishi to the hospital. So come, Sharul, come. Rishi is in Malaysia. This guy with his leg was limping a bit. He limps in. There's a guy who just had an accident. You know, he's like bleeding and everything. And Jason is like, wait, my friend is coming in. And that guy had to wait for Rishi with his stomach cramps to go. And I was like, I slow clap for Jason. Jason, remember the people were dying and then you brought Rishi in first? That day, I knew you were my good friend.
No, yeah, because the guy, he just had an accident. He'll be fine. But Rishi could have had a potentially bad case of appendicitis.
Yeah, but we didn't know that then. You just walked in going like, he has cramps. Fucking let's walk in. That guy's bleeding from his head, his leg.
Okay, I'll tell you the actual story. So Rishi came in with non-specific abdominal pain. I examined him and I thought he had gastritis because it's very not normal, right? And if you have appendicitis, actual appendicitis, your right lower part will be very tender. His wasn't. And Rishi had to be diagnosed via CT scan to have a diagnosis of acute appendicitis. Which is weird. You don't need a CT scan. So what I'm trying to say is, I'm a good doctor. Rishi is weird.
That's such
as a doctor, when you said the words not normal and weird, I knew that you're a fucked up doctor.
I just think Jason, Sharul, and Rishi need to go to counseling. That's all. I see there are issues here, guys. There's
a lot.
Now I understand why they want him next to them in their bed.
Yeah.
Because
dude, they gave me a separate apartment, dude, like 2 blocks away. They were like, no, Danny, you please take your.
And Rishi was jabbing his fat stomach in your ass.
Wait, hold on.
In bed.
I want to know, Daniel. So where did you stay? What kind of apartment was this?
So you know the complex that they live in, right?
Yes.
Sharul, I can say all this. I can tell them.
Yeah, tell them.
But Sharul, like, yeah, tell them, bitch, we have 2 apartments in the same complex. That's how we roll. We're fucking loaded, man. Just tell everyone we have 2 apartments. So they have another apartment in the same complex. So I think that's like a couple of buildings.
We rented that actually. It wasn't ours. We rented it so that we can put fucked up comedians in there. Your career was just not doing well enough at that time, Jason, for us to give you that apartment for that show.
Thank you.
Daniel walked in and we were like, okay then. Why am I getting stuff up?
What they're trying to say is that you have no discernible skills that can help them in the night.
Yes.
Like if Rishi
Yes.
has a potential appendicitis, you can't do anything. As
Yeah.
like as a comedian, your entire this thing is like just to poke it and fuck around with it. But no,
Yeah.
Jason, you've chosen the wrong career right now, right? Like if you like the doctors are even way more respectable than before. So why continue this charade, this failed premise of being a
Well,
comedian?
a lot of people have asked me, Jason, now with the COVID-19 pandemic going on, would you go back to medicine? And my answer is an emphatic no, because it really sucks to be a doctor during this pandemic. Did you know that? Like, I have friends who are frontliners and they are literally sweating, wearing that plastic PPE outfit with the mask and the face shield out in the hot sun conducting tests. No. I'd rather be here doing a podcast, feeling jealous at my fellow comedians getting apartments when they go to Singapore. This
so
is way
Jason,
better.
Yeah, so Jason, basically being a bad doctor really worked out for you then.
Actually, bad
Yes, he
human
does.
being, Jason. Fucked up
Yes, he
human
does.
being.
Yeah.
Hey, just FYI for people who are watching this and have no context whatsoever, Jason is one of the nicest guys in comedy. I swear. No, I mean it,
He's not
Jason.
funny, but he's a very nice guy, and
Yeah,
thank
we
you.
really like him.
His jokes are questionable, but he'll hang out with you. Like if you say, "Hey man, I want to try some Malay food," he'll take you out.
Yeah.
Uh,
And he'll feed
and
Indomie,
then-
Maggie. Yeah.
and then he'll run his jokes by you, and you have to pretend to like them so he can drop you back. But the food is tasty. Is what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Oh my God, Daniel, have you been through that as well in the car? Like, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? so, okay. I'll say, hey, funny, okay. All right, hey, what? Anything better? Anything better? He
Then
does that all the-
I just plug in my earphones and I pretend I'm listening to music. I'm just like, yes, it is just fine.
Oh boy. So Saurabh, your podcast. Tell us more about yourself.
Yeah, let's interview Saurabh. Yeah, Saurabh, when did you start doing stand-up?
I'm waiting to begin one day.
Saurabh, you suggested we drink and now this is what happens.
Listen, this is exactly what I wanted. This is the perfect flow of any podcast. This first, like in the first 7 minutes, we're talking about blowjob classes. Then it
I
comes to
swear.
Rishi almost dying. Then there was, which is how we're going to exaggerate this whole thing. So,
And
yeah.
the funniest thing is I have to record my podcast tomorrow. So I'm just like, how do I top blowjob classes? Because while I'm recording whatever I'm recording in my head, I'm like, Sharul's going for blowjob classes. There is a space where someone's going to teach you how to put a man's penis in your mouth with finesse. With
Guys,
style.
I'm doing an entire show on this. Okay, so this is my research. So fuck off with that material, you bastards. Do not use it anywhere else.
How can we
I
use
have a
the
question.
material?
How, yeah.
How can we?
We have a
Why
friend.
would we go for blowjob classes?
So I have a friend and she went for blowjob classes. And these are the jokes she would have made if she was on stage right now. So my husband, he doesn't have a dildo, he has a real penis. And I was like, how do I blow? that is really
Hey, you guys
downside.
are all too.
Hey
You all
guys,
are
my
too
wife
dramatic.
went for blowjob classes. It's so weird.
You know what? Honestly, this podcast could have just been the four of us hanging out in the green room of a comedy club. So
Exactly.
well done, Saurabh. Well done.
But that's the
Exactly.
whole idea.
Exactly.
Dude,
This
the
was
number
worth
of
waking.
comedians-
This was worth waking up for. I usually wake up at 11:30. Like I was up at 9:30 because Saurabh ki podcast karna hai.
But dude, that's the idea. I have had this is like the 9th one that I've done, and it's all with comedians mostly. And for the most part, my manager was pointing this out. He's like, because like I don't know how the case is in Malaysia and in Singapore, but in India, because we are locked down, the number of people we are speaking to on a daily basis is really low. And like for me specifically, like because I have a house with 2 kids, to speak to adults is amazing. I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
And also, paradoxically, the amount of people who would listen into a podcast has skyrocketed.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, while we were speaking before this, Daniel, you said something about we are not allowed to go to Hong Kong. Can you? What's going on
Oh
there?
yeah. So you guys know the new security law that's been passed in Hong Kong, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
I was talking to Andy. You guys know Andy, right?
Yeah, Andy
Yeah,
Curtin.
Andy Curtin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, 1 second. I don't know how much the Chinese is fucking scouring the internet for shit. So I was not talking to Andy, guys. I was talking to this friend of mine called Felix, who lives in Hong Kong, and apparently, I don't know how much this is true, but
Right.
even if you don't live in China and you say shit about China or this law or whatever it is, or about China or Hong Kong getting independence in another country, and you pass through Hong Kong either via layover or to visit, you could get arrested.
It's actually even scarier than that, Daniel. So the China passed the Hong Kong security law where even if a non-Hong Kong resident says shit about the China CCP or the Hong Kong government in another country, that person may be found guilty. And scarily,
I said the same thing.
No. If China and that country has an extradition treaty,
Whoa!
the guy may be somehow or other. I mean, I'm sure it's very complicated, but theoretically, he could be brought over to Hong Kong or China.
China could request for extradition.
Yeah, I mean, if you say something bad enough, I guess.
Dude, I'm so happy Modi ji banned those apps. Like, fuck these guys. Seriously, like.
Yeah, that whole TikTok ban was quite a boss move.
It wasn't just
move, but
TikTok.
it's not approved
59.
It's
an interim move. But it's still a statement of intent. But for me, I think this is bullshit on a whole new level.
Isn't US also planning to ban TikTok, or have they already done it?
Yeah, they are planning.
Yeah.
Wow.
But hang on a second. So China is basically now saying that not only do we want to control what our own citizens say about us, but we want to control what other citizens also say about us.
Yeah, that's why they said that there's
how do you say go fuck yourselves in Chinese?
Fuck, I don't know.
Mandarin or Cantonese?
Oh, sorry, I shouldn't be racist.
You fucking be careful. You're very close by. One arm will come out of Beijing, pick you.
No.
In the middle of your blowjob classes, only one hand will come and pick you. And Sharul will be like, I'm not finished.
Dude, but they'll be fine with it because the dildo will have at the bottom a sign saying made in PC,
Made in China.
PRC. And they'll be like, this is cool. As long as you're using our products.
There'll be a camera in my dildo, man.
No, but I remember when I'd done a show and I'd done a series of shows in Hong Kong and it's like always damn good fun. And the guy who picked me up was telling me exactly about this, where he's like, the reason why we are protesting is that this is basically a downhill slope. Where the reason why we prefer being in Hong Kong versus being in mainland China is because of the freedoms that you enjoy. And dude, like, it was so weird. The guy picked me up from the airport at 2:30 and he's like, we got to rush to the hotel. I'm like, why? He's like, because the protesters have announced that they're going to be protesting from 3:15 till 5:30. And I'm like, that is a very precise way to announce a protest where it's like this is a scheduled Google Calendar meeting, which I don't think happens anywhere else.
Yeah, there is a whole organically organized protest movement, and a friend of mine was also saying that they have apps that will tell you which restaurants are pro-China, which restaurants are pro-Hong Kong, and then they don't go to the pro-China restaurants.
Wow.
I don't know how they tabulate the information,
Jason, if I may, based on how shit is going down right now, do you think there will be a revolt, or is Hong Kong done and dusted now?
I don't know, man. I mean, I have a lot of friends in Hong Kong, and I wish them well, but it seems that they are not giving up. That's all I know.
Okay.
And yeah,
because
and
also, guys, keep in mind the maximum penalty if you break this law is life imprisonment.
Fuck.
But there's one thing about Hong Kong people, guys, I have to say, whenever I perform, and even in China, I performed in China. We did 5 cities, I think, with also Andy, right?
No, Felix.
Who's
Andy?
Felix.
The fuck's Andy?
Who the fuck is Andy? Don't make shit up.
Carrie Lam, the comedy organizer from Hong Kong.
Yeah. So, you know what? So I loved Chinese people. Like, I loved the culture. Rishi and I got so much of love in China. Because they had not sharp noses. Like, everybody wanted to take a picture with us. We were like, wow.
This is true when I was in Shanghai as well. It's not the people that is the problem. The people are not the problem. I think the citizens in China want the exact same thing. They want the same freedoms that everybody else does. It's the government. So when we say fuck China, we're not talking about the people. We're not talking about the place.
Yes.
We are talking about the government specifically because I definitely believe that the citizens and the state are two different entities.
Correct. I never said fuck China. Daniel Fernandes said it.
भोसड़ी के आ जाओ गांडू लोग Santa Cruz में आके उठा के दिखा, तेरे गाड़ में इतना दम है ना, लौड़ू लोग आके दिखा, चल मेंचोद.
Wow, Daniel suddenly became full Delhi in a second. I've never seen this side of Daniel.
Jason Leong is like, now they will translate this for me because I didn't understand anything, but with the passion
No.
and as a
One sec,
doctor.
guys. Jason's expression is exactly what China's expressions will be when they see this part of the podcast. They're like, what the fuck did you just say? Dude, I swear, but honestly, I am not taking any chances. And next time I take any flight that even remotely has to pass through Chinese airspace, I will go to the cockpit. I'll be like, boss, can you please thoda right, slightly to the right, just go.
Daniel, you know how many people have disappeared from airport toilets just miraculously in different countries?
How many?
Many.
That's See, he just pulls out a statistic from my ass.
One second, Sharul, what are you doing when you fly internationally, by the way? Like, how are you killing time in transit where you're just walking into toilets and going, hey, you still there? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just
No.
wanted to let you know that do you know how many people disappear from airport toilets? That guy taking a shit is like, how many? Many.
But
Dude, I'm
Speaking
imagining
about-
Sharon waiting outside the toilet, keeping a count of how many people went in versus how many came out in every toilet. It's like 6, 5 have returned.
5 have disappeared.
She's right there. Rishi.
Oh, well.
But I
Get the batteries ready for my dildo.
yeah.
By the way, all the guys who are watching this, and if you're enjoying this, I'm doing shows tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday.
plug.
Please come.
This is where
By the way,
Saurabh like stop smiling. He's like, kutta kamina.
No, but that's the whole point. Jason hasn't mentioned his Twitter handle. Like, it's already been 1 hour and he's not mentioned it even once.
Oh wait, hold on. Guys, please follow me on all social media handles here.
And guys,
Oh.
at the Sharul Channa, I'm going to be putting up a lot of TikTok videos because it's not banned here. So
Guys, please unfollow me on China. If China comes to know you're following me on social media, तेरे को भी उठा लेंगे.
But actually, I am concerned
Jason,
because
you've been trying to say something for a while. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, no, what Daniel said about not taking risks, I'm very concerned. So like, I don't think I'll be performing in Hong Kong or China anytime soon. Because you know, during the whole protesting, I was retweeting and tweeting a lot of pro Hong Kong democracy tweets.
Jason, just a small thing before we continue. It looks like you have a mask over your face while talking about China. So
Yes.
this looks
And
really...
the mask has your name.
Yeah.
So full of shit, Jason.
Yeah, so you're not going to go perform in Hong Kong, huh?
Yeah, not anytime soon, because I'm just worried that I might disappear from the toilets. You never know.
many,
So-
babe, many.
Yeah, so I that's
But
why
yeah, I agree with Jason. I think this is a legit concern right now for anybody entering China, not just a comedian. Like at the time, let's say at the time of applying for a visa, let's say you're visiting China, at the time of applying for visa, what's to stop them from scouring through your social media to see what you said and what you have not said? And
Did
then
you-
they say visa approved, and then you land and go, hey, fucker, we've been waiting for you. And then you don't even get to go to the toilet straight. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like,
Did-
fucking shit.
Did you know that during the height of the protest, they were checking people's smartphones and said, show me your Facebook, show me your Twitter. And if there were any pro whatever, anti-China, whatever, they would not allow you to enter.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But not allowed to enter. I'm always curious when they say, hey, you're not allowed to enter the country. Who pays for your flight back?
I think it's yourself.
The,
right?
I think when you get deported, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's I think the government pays it.
Yeah, they do.
As in the deporting government. No, utna paisa hai un log ke paas.
A friend of mine once, and Jason, I don't know if you know about this, a friend of mine recently, because they were so scared about all the immigrants coming in from India illegally. This friend of mine was not even going from India. She was coming from Singapore, but she had an Indian passport. They just looked at her Indian passport and they threw her in jail for 24 hours till the government from Singapore had to tell them to get her out, just because they were like, yeah, she had an Indian passport. They didn't even read who she was, which company she was there for
Which
work.
country was this? Sorry, which country?
Malaysia.
Really, Jason? What the fuck, man?
It's happening, right? It's happening a lot.
So
Why?
what? She's an Indian national.
Indian national, but she was working in a reputed company in Singapore. She was coming
Oh.
to Malaysia for work. They just saw the
Oh.
Indian passport And because a lot of people have been trying to get into Malaysia, they
Ah.
just saw the passport and put her in jail. Imagine that girl.
Yeah.
She was like,
not in jail lah, in
trauma.
like a detention center lah, while they sort out the shit.
It was like a
Yeah,
cell. There were
yeah.
10 women in there and they were all crying. And so
Yeah. It's very bad, and also we have it done on us, but with good reason, by Australia, right? There are a few stories where Malaysians, we want to go to Australia for holiday, right? So they go to the airport, they check in everything, and at the waiting lounge, the waiting to enter the plane, there is someone from the Australian High Commission just standing there, and if she sees any questionable characters, she can ask them for their passport. And then if she's not happy with the story, like she'll ask like, how much money do you have? When do you plan to fly back? What do you plan to do there? What's your itinerary? And if you can't answer these questions to her satisfaction or to their satisfaction, you are denied entry into the plane to Australia. And I've seen this happen when I went to Brisbane to perform. I saw those officials waiting there asking questions.
One second. They are being questioned at which airport?
At the KLIA, the Kuala Lumpur International
In
Airport.
Kuala Lumpur itself,
Yeah.
there are Aussie officials.
Yes.
But,
And
so what basis? What do they think these Malaysians are going to go to Australia and do?
they
open Malaysian restaurant.
No, the problem is a lot of Malaysians have gone like on a visitor's visa or whatever, overstay their visa and cause a lot of
Okay.
problems. So when
Okay.
she sees like a bunch of young Malaysians, like, and they can't answer like how much money they have, when do they plan to come back, it's high suspicion
High
that
risk,
you're gonna overstay. So like
hang on a second, but for them to do that, they would need permission from the Malaysian government to be present at the airport.
yeah, must be lah.
So they have that permission.
They have that, yeah. They must have had that. Yeah.
But it must be an issue. I mean, like, that's why, like, a lot of the times when they pass a law, or they're trying to pass a law which is related to immigration, I think a lot of the times people tend to jump the gun with regards to why that law is being passed. I'm not just saying about, like, in India, but everywhere. Like, dude, one of my favorite, you know what, actually, you guys are going to be lost when I'm talking about this. So we'll talk about something else. You know what, Jason, I've been fascinated by your Facebook.
What are you doing,
what?
Saurabh?
I'm sorry,
Confuse
Saurabh.
us.
What was
I was
that?
going to talk about NRCCA and my favorite story about what's his name? Yeah, Sadhguru. It's a whatever. There's a guy called there's a YouTube channel called Soch. Just see the video about Sadhguru. It's actually damn fun. Anyway,
How do I Google this video?
You just go on Soch on YouTube and check out one video. Basically, what happened was that Sadhguru basically said that a lot of the people protesting the NRC, this thing which is the National, National
Registrar for Citizens.
Yeah. So that particular act which is being placed, he basically said that all the people protesting against that act have not read the act thoroughly. And in a 20-minute conversation, 11 minutes after saying that, he said, I haven't read the act thoroughly, but I am for it. And I'm like, you just said that people haven't read the act and you're already saying that you haven't read the act.
Yeah.
So
anyway, go on. Yeah, go on. Okay.
Yeah. So your Facebook, okay, it's very interesting going through your Facebook and being your Facebook friend, not because like the content is good, but just because it's like interesting to see. I don't know why I'm doing the same joke as Daniel, but you get trolled by people constantly for anything that you're saying. So do you think that it's become a situation where even in Malaysia, there's an IT cell? Do you know the concept of the IT cell?
No, what's that?
Information. So in India, and this is globally, China has an IT cell, which is an information and technology cell. So because Twitter is they're trying to change the way the culture is perceived, they have random people just storming every single tweet. And the BJP does it in India. The Congress has started doing it in India. Do you think that same thing is happening in Malaysia as well?
Okay, so in Malaysia, there's a concept of political cyber troopers, where
that sounds nice.
Yeah,
Wow,
a bunch
dude.
of
No,
really.
It's the same thing, I think. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people who are paid just to either control the narrative or rebut certain stories that they don't like, and also to instigate and create division amongst the people. And
yes, same thing.
So it's so obvious, and I've told myself that in the past I've always taken the bait. I've always fallen for their trap, right? And once you begin to engage them or fight them or rebut them, retweet them, once you boost their signal, they've already won. And that's why it's I try my best to not let myself be taken in for a ride. I just let them troll. It's okay. As another guy who used to be a cyber trooper, but on the good side, he says that it is more important to further your stories than to counter their negative stories, which I think is a good maxim to have in this new form of asymmetrical warfare.
And I see this a lot, right? Saurabh and Dan and even Jason, that even in India, there's so much, like whenever I see comedians and they're getting trolled, and especially the women, like they will screenshot like
Oh, you.
things that are being said about them. What is it with? I mean, there's a huge trolling culture in even India. Do you feel that people should engage these people or not engage them?
I'll tell you. Sorry. Are you done? I'm sorry. I didn't mean
No,
to
no, no, no,
interrupt.
no. I want to know, because sometimes even you put up stuff, no, Dan, like saying that this person called you a loru or whatever, and it's funny. You
Dude,
laugh
the
about
funniest troll I got is somebody commented on my YouTube video and said, "You are so ugly," and I'm like, "Bro, try harder, yaar. What the fuck is you are so ugly?"
it. No, so but yeah.
But I'll tell you. Okay,
how
so
do
I'll
guys
give you
respond?
a perspective. I'll give you a perspective here. One, there is a false sense of equality that the internet provides you because of anonymity, because the person can't see you. Your words appear larger than they are. A lot of these trolls, if you have to put these people face to face in front of you, they would not have the guts to say what they're saying.
Yep.
Nine out of 10%. It's this fake sense of I am equal to you because I have a phone and an internet connection, so I will say whatever you want. But you put these people in the room together, the conversation is completely different. That's one. Two, it's the strength in numbers thing where people, okay, if everyone's ganging up, I feel stronger. So if 10 people are saying the same thing to one person, the 10 people feel stronger, so let's pile on this guy, and troll him. And then of course then you drive in your agenda. So what is our agenda? Our agenda is we want to push a certain ideology, we want to suppress a certain minority, so they all speak the same language. So it is a coordinated
Yes.
attack. It is a coordinated attack by people who have no real strength in the real world.
Right.
You take these people outside, like you take any single troll and outside, like sometimes I think the best way to deal with trolls is just what I do. Okay, when people say shit to me on my Instagram, I go to their profile and I look at their profile and then I look at their pictures and I'm just like, these are like 17-year-olds. It's just a little kid who's just had his first boner. I'm just like, it's so cute. You start feeling this sense of, oh, it's
One
so
sec,
cute.
you had your first
know?
boner at the age of 17 or what? That's like,
Tell me
I'm
more,
just saying.
Daniel. Tell me more. Kaisa tha? How did you feel? When?
So I'll tell you. So I had my first boner at the age of 17 when I was at this blowjob class where.
No,
You
but
know,
it's so funny. Like a friend of mine, Kunal Roy Kapoor and Anubhav, they do this podcast on Spotify called Our Last Week. It's a genuinely fun podcast. And in that they were talking about the IT cell. And Kunal Roy Kapoor is like, I don't even feel bad because I'm like, at least you earn 700 rupees. So like
Yeah.
for each tweet that you put out, at least you're getting some or whatever, 37 rupees, whatever amount you're getting. And so at least somebody's making money during the lockdown, right? So you got to feel
But
happy that
also,
money is coming in.
yeah, if I may, Sharul, just to wrap up the answer to your question, the best way to deal with these people is to not engage. Do not respond. That is exactly what they want. They are baiting you. They want you to say something, and then they will pile on. The best thing, like, and this is why I love Instagram. Okay, with Twitter, when you block a troll, the troll still has access to your account, and then he can see that okay, you've been blocked. But on Instagram, when you block somebody, they cannot search for you, they cannot find you, you don't they don't, you don't exist for them, like that is brilliant. So that the easiest thing to do is just block them, kick them out of the house. And then people, and it's another extremist ad mentality towards blocking. They're like, oh, you don't have the guts to block, don't have the guts to respond, so you're blocking. No, I'm like, okay, here's what it is. I treat my Instagram profile like my home. Okay, the same way. Now, if you treat it like your home, and are you going to if somebody comes to your home, he pulls his pants down, takes a shit in your living room, are you going to be like, oh man, hey, nice, please shit some more? No, you'll fucking kick him out of your house, right?
No, but you see, even on Instagram, like I must tell you something about spamming. Like,
fuck these guys, dude.
When of course the actor Sushant Singh Rajput, when he committed suicide, right? Or the search of every Instagram was filled with this spam and pictures of him when he was just taken off the fan. There were pictures of him, and it was so terrible. I swear. Okay, so if you remotely even follow, now I am in Singapore, so because I followed like 5-6 of these Bollywood or Indian cinema actors, it just shows up, and it was spamming. It was sick. I had to unfollow most of them to sort of not receive it. And even now it's on repeat. And I feel that there's so much of, even on Instagram now, there's so much of things that are put out there, and and there's so much of toxic thing that I almost feel that, I guess the bigger the name you are, the more difficult it becomes for people to ignore the trolling. I mean,
So yeah, so it's relatively easy for you right now then. So
it's very easy, bro. It is so easy.
that was my
Only a couple of my boob pictures.
my return for the pussy joke.
Daniel is just waiting like a cheetah. He's like, hey, there's gonna be
I
like
don't
some
know, guys.
morsel for me
I'm
to feed on.
sorry.
You will still get to
But-
see your pussy, yeah.
But Sharul, yeah, wait, I'll show. She's gone to sleep now. It's like I'll get her. One
Why is
second.
your pussy always sleeping?
But
Yeah.
because she's been like doing blowjob classes all night. Yeah, she's tired.
What the
Kuch bhi. Acha, wait, we're having a
Huh.
serious grown-up discussion, Sharul. But to
Really?
be fair, managing this toxicity is way easier on Instagram than it is on Twitter. So that's why I'm done with Twitter for the same reason. It's too toxic, dude. It's
yeah.
it's just a bunch of really vulgar people who've run amok, and I don't want to be there. But Instagram gives you more control. So I think that's a better space to be. But I think as far as trolls are concerned, just don't engage. I think that's the best policy. Just do your thing.
Right.
I think as a comedian, you should restrict whatever you have to say to your work.
On stage.
If I have something to say about this, you can hear about it in my podcast. You can hear about it in my stand-up videos, or maybe like a podcast like this. But I am not going to engage on a one-on-one level, because you are never going to change somebody's mind about something by arguing with them on the internet. So this is about the ego. This is about one-upmanship. This isn't about doing something for the greater good. It's about you as a troll. You're going, hey, I want to take this guy down a notch. As a comedian or a celebrity, you're like, oh, I want to show this guy who's boss. Nobody's really winning here. It's a waste of time. Life is beautiful outside. If you stand on your balcony, watch the birds flying around, so much more.
Yeah, I'm in Singapore. It's very beautiful. Like the
But
contour
I-
opposite is, yeah.
But
I was-
and Sharul does have a great view. To be honest, she has a great view from her balcony.
Can you please complete that sentence in a better manner? Sharul has a great view. If you
So I
stand
said,
on
no,
her balcony-
I said. Okay, Saurabh, please say something.
Jason was saying something. Jason is
No,
trying like,
I totally agree with Daniel. Like I took a break from Twitter, and I think my mental health really improved.
Yes, yes.
But I would say though that there are times when you need to be on Twitter to support movements which need to be supported. For example, like the Black Lives Matter thing, right? So I was on Twitter and I retweeted all the things that I liked about BLM, which I think it's important nowadays that we need to support this kind of movements. Or like recently, in Malaysia, there have been a slew of men being called out for sexual harassment, rape, and all that kind of stuff. So there's like a mini Me Too going on Malaysia Twitter right now. So I will go on Twitter, I retweet in support, but I won't engage in all this non-important toxic stuff. So I think Twitter is still important when you need to help any movement with that little signal that you have, the few followers that you have, use that for the greater good.
you know what? It's so weird. I think Twitter gets a bad rep with regards to a lot of this because of the troll army and stuff like that. Because I think most of the bots are there because it's easy. It's the easiest platform to troll somebody because it doesn't involve much. I don't have to watch your entire video. I literally have to read your 140 characters, which will take me 15 seconds if I'm vaguely smart.
Yeah.
But you know what I've realized is that dealing with trolls, it depends on your own mental health and your mental capacity to deal with this shit. I used to deal with it a lot. And then a couple of years back, I got death threats on Instagram.
Oh,
Every
that's
year, I
fucking
got like
bullshit.
19 death threats for some fucking innocuous joke that I tweeted in 2011. People rediscovered it and tagged their respective communities and whatever the shit it was. And I realized that so Veer follows a tactic of tweeting people and fucking with them. Daniel used to, I remember. Kamra does.
I stopped, dude. I
you
got off
stopped
Twitter 2017 or early 2018. I don't remember, but it's just not my scene anymore. I'm happy on Instagram. It's
I've
way
got
better.
way worse. I've got way worse shit on Instagram. Actually, it's damn weird.
What in DMs, na?
Oh my god, dude! Fuck, not even DMs. There was some old joke of mine which somebody rediscovered, and it went through this one particular community who I don't want to name because they're waiting because they have nothing better to do with their lives. And I got death threats from like 19 people, and all their DPs were just holding swords and guns. So
What
you're like,
the
how do I even fucking engage with the shit? There's no response that I can
But that's
give.
what I'm saying. You don't respond. You just move on with your life.
I did.
Live your life.
I deleted the
They
tweet.
don't do.
I
They
deleted
don't
the
I like
offensive
how
tweet.
I like how Kamara handles this. Sometimes he had posted these pictures of somebody giving a same thing, death threats. So Kamara like, "ठीक है, आ जाओ, come. Here is where I live. Come." And then every day Kamara would message him back, "Are you coming? When are you leaving? I'm waiting." I am telling you, these guys are all internet tigers. You take away their
Yeah.
Wi-Fi, they become pussycats. They just fucking.
So other than trolling, I think the other thing that happens now is trying to, as you were saying, mansplain, but that's not the word. Where they try to tell you that where they try to correct.
Sharul, if you don't understand mansplaining, let me explain to you what mansplaining is, okay? So mansplaining is when a man is explaining to a woman a concept condescendingly because he thinks she doesn't understand. Sharul, I hope this is clear to you.
I don't, Sharul, I don't think Saurabh explained it really well. Let me have a go. I think that was not.
Oh boy, please. No.
Saurabh.
Okay, no. So what I was trying to say is that they
Ah.
also try to correct your the concept. Like for example, like you say, I've said something now about the sentence of so and so committed suicide, and then someone would be like, committed means they committed a crime. You need to say something else, right?
Okay.
What people
they
try
say
to
died by
correct you, they feel
suicide
they
now,
died by suicide. So now everything has to be said proper. Now as stand-up comedians, we don't follow this kind of protocol. We come with our own. I mean, with our own understanding of how we want to do a joke. It might not be appropriate to people who are always correcting stuff. I mean, how do you guys deal with that? Do you guys actually go back and think, yeah, maybe I should not say it this way? Maybe you're like, okay, fuck it, I don't care. I'm going to offend everybody, but I have to do my joke the way it is and be authentic to myself.
So the committed suicide bit, the reason
Yeah.
why people get agitated about that is because it was considered a crime in a lot of countries, right?
Correct.
So
Yeah.
the reason why it was called committed suicide is because you effectively did commit a crime until 2017 or 15. It was a crime to attempt suicide in India. I have a whole stand-up set on this summer getting into it.
Sure.
So the reason why people get into this whole thing is that because they're like, we want to remove the criminality of something that is a mental health issue.
Right.
And so that's why they said death by suicide or whatever the other correct term is. But you know what? I think the problem is that people, it's not even about correcting you. It's about correcting things in a way where they're like, dude, there's a possibility that I may not know. Like, give me the possibility that I may not know something and
Correct.
you may not know something. So be nice about fucking explaining shit. By the way, I love to engage with people because I realize that it gets like nice points of views across. I had a guy who put out a post where he tagged me. He's like, why is every video of yours, why does it appear that you think you're the only person who could be correct? And I'm like, that's interesting feedback. I like that feedback because I'm like, it's actually possible that I'm wrong about a lot of things or wrong in your head about it. So the problem tends to start being where people are like, you are a piece of shit. And you know what? And the ist, right? The ism, right? Somebody calling somebody a racist or a communist or a fucking sexist for just random shit. Like, just enough with the ist, dude. Unless it's a cyst. Friends, am I waking you up with this joke?
Yeah.
Okay, I got to take some comments because people are really overexcited.
About what?
Just random. People are having their own.
They're having their own arguments.
Are people giving you money on YouTube?
Oh, I have to go through this again every day. So there's Super Chat on YouTube. And Super Chat, the way it works is that if people want to like what you're doing, they'll give you some money. It could be anything from 40 rupees to yesterday we got somebody giving $25.
Bro, I saw someone give you $10. I got to get in on this shit, man. Do I have to give you money? No, right?
No,
Yeah, so this is so basically it's like a pay-per-view, right? If you want to
Yeah.
pay, but you choose how much you want to pay. Yeah, that's cool. I
Deepak
think
Singh has given
I think that's
pounds saying love these wake up sessions. Thank you so much, Deepak Singh. And thank you for everybody commenting. I'm sorry I can't respond to everybody because it's a lot, and there's also a lot of people just doing like fucking bot army OP.
OP shit they keep writing. This one OP, that
OP
OP.
means overpowered. It's video game lingo for when someone's doing well or they like what you're doing. It's a good thing. It means like, it means you're doing something they like.
Yeah. Okay,
But I think also, sorry, Saurabh, just to, full props to anybody who's paying for this. I think it's really nice that you respect Saurabh as an artist and you're willing to pay for his work. Because guys, for those of you watching, this takes a lot of effort to put out, by the way. Sorry to go all uncle on you, but
But you are an
sometimes
Uncle
I think,
Daniel.
but sometimes I think as viewers, we tend to take for granted what it takes to put something like this out day in and day out. For him to do it every fucking day of the week, it's very commendable. We just
Yeah.
have to wake up and log in, but Saurabh has a whole other list of things he has to go through to make sure this works well. So I really appreciate the fans who appreciate the kind of stuff that goes behind putting this together. So yeah, OP. Everybody who has paid in your language, OP. Yeah.
It's
Obviously, you know,
the list
sorry,
of things
Jason.
you have to do for this podcast does it not include getting a proper mic or something, Saurabh? I mean,
You know what, Jason? I have thought about this offer. Okay, like I'm seeing Sharul's mic and I'm seeing your mic and I've seen Daniel set up for the podcast and shit. And I'm like, I should buy a mic, but then I go to Amazon and it's like it says that it costs money, and I like I don't want to pay.
Hey guys,
that shit.
who are watching this, how about we chip in some money for Saurabh to buy a mic?
yes,
The
please.
next 10 payments should be so that Saurabh can buy a
Dude,
mic.
you have no idea. The laptop I'm using right now is a 2014 MacBook. Okay, and it's like on the verge of collapse, and it's collapsed twice. That's the reason I was out of the house. Okay, I got to talk about this, which is related to the lockdown. I think people tend to like what Daniel mentioned was, I think one cool thing which Daniel has done over a period of time, and I'm sure you guys will contribute to this as well with regards to what you're doing, is that you put out an entire stand-up special on YouTube and ask people to do a pay-as-you-like model, which is currently specifically in India unheard of. So what I want to ask all three of you is that what is it that you're trying to do in the lockdown to try and make money? Because I think people tend to underestimate, like, I have a crazy amount of guilt making any money during the lockdown that is coming to me. Because I'm like,
Okay.
shit, there are people who need money. And then I
Yes,
realize, I
yes.
see my children and I'm like, they also need food sometimes.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
they need food to eat and feed. Dude, we had to take my daughter out of play school because they said that we're going to do online. We're like, online play school doesn't work. And
Hey,
they
one
gave me a
minute, huh?
refund. They gave me a refund and I was so happy receiving a refund. I'm like, shit, her school paid me money back. I was so happy.
I think
This is
it's that
cash.
message, that SMS you get, no, your account has been credited. When you see credited, you're like, this feels so good. This feels so good.
I wrote a newspaper article where they paid me 8,000 rupees and I was so happy receiving any money right now. So yeah. So Daniel and Sharul, what are you guys doing with regard to trying to like keep things going during the lockdown?
So, Sharul, I'll go. You want to go?
Okay. I'm back.
You go, babe. You go because you'll be very like long and fucking gruesome.
Okay, let me go. Okay, I'll
OP,
just.
OP.
I have to leave after my reply because
Okay.
I'm okay. So what I'm
Yeah.
doing throughout this lockdown to make money, I got a friend to masquerade as a teacher giving out blowjob classes, and the response is really good, especially in Singapore. My God, you're so stupid. No, but on a separate note, I've been doing online
कुत्ते
content.
कमीने जैसन I hope तेरा blowjob तुझे कभी ना मिले साले मर जा तू.
Okay, thank you. So I've been doing stuff like my own version of like a late night talk show, like Stephen Colbert or Trevor Noah kind of show. I call it the all day show with no budget because that's what it is. It's very low budget. My goal was to get someone to sponsor the video so that every video I get some money. To that end, no one has agreed to sponsor. And I've kind of stopped doing that because right now in Malaysia, it's kind of dangerous to have an opinion. So I've known some people who are being investigated for having tweeted something which they don't like. So yeah, I'm kind of taking a step back. So that's
what are
why
the repercussions? What happens if you say something which is against the norm?
Well, there are some politicians who have been called by the police for investigations, which is in it of itself a kind of a form of harassment. And if there are some other lay people who tweet something unsavory, they get called by the police. So I've too many people I know are going through that. So I'm very worried, to be honest.
You know, one part of me is sad that that's the case, and another part of me is almost happy that this is the case in so many places. And it's like, you know what, everybody fucking, this is my favorite fucking bit to talk about, is about this perception of freedom of speech globally, which exists in like no country in the world, except, as Daniel said, like till recently in the US. And I think now with the cancel culture, even that's pretty much going. And like one of my favorite things about this is the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard thing, right? Where it's like, it's the hypocrisy of that entire thing. Like I'm not saying that there's been some terrible fucking acts by men and all that stuff, not decrying that. And you have to mention that as a caveat because people lose their minds even about that. But that whole thing reeks of so much hypocrisy of like people just not understanding the fact that like dude getting fired from jobs just because something that there's a story, one of my favorite stories is a book by this guy called John Ronson called So You've Been Publicly Shamed. And it's about this lady who was unknown, 200 followers on Twitter. She was working with some organization. She was flying to Africa. Before flying to Africa, she said, flying to Africa right now, hope I don't get AIDS, lol, I'm white, won't happen.
Oh my
Something
God,
like
I
that.
remember this. And then she went off. Oh,
She went off and then he
8 hours.
documents her. And she's like, dude, I have a dark sense of humor and I was just trying to entertain my 200 people who are my friends and family. I don't know, this is going to explode to a point where I'm going to be jobless for fucking 4 years. And yeah, it is tone deaf, but I'm like, dude, just like give people the opportunity. I have started having more empathy for politicians for shit that they said in the past, which is racist and fucked up. Because I'm like, if you go through shit jokes that we made,
yeah.
like at the start of our careers, we would be fucked.
I think
On,
what's missing in online discourse right now is nuance. What's
Yes.
missing is
Thank you, Daniel.
context.
Thank
You take a screenshot, you crop it appropriately, and then you make an agenda out of it, and then you try to get somebody fired from a job, make sure they are not able to feed their families. I think there's a lot of things wrong with that approach. There are two sides to every story. In fact, I think there are more than two sides to the same story. And especially if you're talking about somebody's livelihood, somebody's ability to provide for their family and stuff, if you're throwing that into the equation, I think these things need to be examined from all corners.
But I also think we are a bit lucky, Daniel, because, your revolutionary writers of the past, like Sarat Manto or like Amrita Pritam from India, right? They wrote some really risky work. And if social media was around then, they would have gotten so screwed and so fucked. But we still at least can come back on and say, listen, this was my point of view. Now it's totally up to you whether you want to buy it or not. So I think that social media is also kind of there is positive side to it as well, where you can come on and be like,
of course, no one's shitting on social media altogether. I'm talking specifically in the context of cancel culture. I think what's missing in cancel culture is nuance. At the minute something comes out about somebody, everybody just piles on, they get their pitchforks out, and it's an outright online lynch job. Wherein I think you need somebody to go where everybody should just go, okay, hang on, okay, this is what happened, all right, cool, what's the other side of the story, and let a formal investigation of sorts happen. If a crime has been committed, let the law step in. But we have a case where, and this is not even coming from the right wing, okay, if you're talking about groups, this is coming from supposedly progressive left wingers who call themselves woke. They are the biggest danger to online discourse right now, because they are so rabid in their belief that they are right and everybody else is wrong. And they're so rabid, they're literally frothing at their mouth when shit goes down. And what Saurabh said is right. You have to give people the chance to become better. Nobody gets it right, nobody will get it right. That's just how it is. We've all said things either in public or in private over a lifetime that today would not fly. Maybe back in the day it was okay to say those things, but today it won't fly. So if someone's like the whole committed suicide thing, so now I used to say it as well. So now I'm like, okay, so is this a better way to say it? Does this make sense? Okay, I will do it. But if you condemn someone for saying it's not committed suicide, you don't know shit, you don't deserve to fucking have a job, fuck you, that's not the way to change, right?
To change, yeah.
Why is cancel culture all about, again, coming back to, oh, I am better than you, I know more than you, so you don't deserve to be able to have a life? No.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, I'm not talking about the open and shut cases where a crime has been committed with enough evidence. I'm talking about the cases, and which is a fact for most discussions on social media, there are gray areas. There are gray areas. We form an opinion before we have all the facts. And then when the facts come out and the facts are contrary to your opinion, nobody fucking backtracks. Everybody just sits silent. Nobody says, hey man, I think we were wrong with what we did to this guy, or with what we did to this girl because of that tweet or whatever it is. Everyone shuts the fuck up.
So shut the fuck up reminds me. Sorry, yeah.
Sorry, Jason has been looking like he's itching to go. Jason, I know you're
Yes.
too polite to say that you need to go. Why don't you just say your
Yes.
goodbyes? Because I know
So,
you've been looking at the door. Yeah.
on that note of shut the fuck up, I have to go. Thank you so much for inviting me on your podcast, Saurabh. This has been a really wonderful conversation. And when the borders open, I hope to go back to India and perform my
We'll catch up in China. Let's do a gig in Hong Kong.
Yes.
All of us.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot,
Bye-bye.
Jason.
Take care,
Follow
buddy.
Jason
See you.
everywhere. He's a very
Bye.
sweet man.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jason.
Bye.
Bye. Sharul, you were saying something. Sorry.
No,
Please
no.
go
So
ahead.
I had to go as well. But then what else? Yeah. Sorry, I had to go as well. And I wanted to tell Daniel, thank you so much. I understand what you're saying. And thanks for educating. And I still didn't get to see your pussy. And that's just not
Hey,
right.
okay, hang on a second. I'll get
Yes,
on.
yes.
Sharul, how are you dealing with the lockdown? How are you trying to like make? Is Singapore open? Live gigs are not going to happen for at least like 2 months more, is it?
No, live gigs I don't think will happen for another 2-3 months actually. And even if the live gigs happen, you'll only be allowed 50 people in a larger room. So I think that a lot of things are still going to continue on Zoom. Having said that, it's a bit of a tricky time now because we're now in phase 2, which means people can go to bars and restaurants. So even if you're having shows on Zoom, you have to be very careful when you have the shows, not on during the weekends. It has to be on Wednesday or Thursdays. How I've been dealing with it is that, okay, thankfully, touchwood, I've been lucky to get a lot of gigs coming on because of corporate. And I've also been doing my own show, this show called Am I Old? Which is based on aging. Oh my God!
This is Rika, guys.
What's her name?
Okay.
Rika.
You're on Saurabh's podcast now.
Wow, man.
She's like, Utar Mirko.
Dude, I like the streak in her back, man. Where
Yeah,
she's
so
like,
beautiful.
She looks like a
Okay,
piece of
baby.
caramel pudding that you want to eat.
Not there.
Can I eat your cat, Daniel? Is what I'm trying to say. Okay, I think everybody has things to do. Thanks a lot for everybody tuning in. Daniel, Sharul, do you have anything to push? Anything that you guys are up to right now that you like?
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of live shows. So I'm doing live shows in India this weekend. So tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm doing shows in the US and Canada. I'm doing Europe and UK. I'm doing UAE as well. So all basically information for my shows are available on my Instagram account. So just check me out on Instagram.
Follow me too at the Sharul Channa. I mean, I had 10 Indian men following me already, which is always exciting.
I'm at absolutely Danny on Instagram. Yeah.
I can't wait to entertain the 10 Indian men who've just followed me.
After your blowjob class.
My blowjob class. I think that's what they did for them. They're like, I need to imagine this more. Let me go to Instagram.
Dude, it'll be really weird if you start putting up photographs of you just with phallic symbols for the next week. Just like. Thanks a lot, Daniel. Thanks a lot, Sharul.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, man. Thank you so much for your time. You guys are very nice, easy to coordinate with. Really appreciate it. You guys can log off. I'm just going to make a couple of announcements and tell people what's up in the next few days.
Thanks.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
See you
guys.
Bye.
All right, guys. So next 4 days left for this daily Wake Up Live. Tomorrow we have Nishant Tanwar, Rahul Dua, and one more person. I'm going to figure out who will be somebody fun. Saturday we have Zakir Khan, we have Atul Khatri, we have Sumukhi Suresh. Sunday there's Ramchandra Guha, Biswa Kalyan Rath, and Kumar Varun. And keep coming in. Thanks a lot to all the super chats. Just a couple of last super chats I got to acknowledge. Anand Pandey, thanks for 200 rupees. Sharul OP, Jason OP, Daniel OP, Saurabh OP, OP Sinhal classes. Very nice. Thank you so much. Sharath Raghu, 200 rupees. Thank you. Enjoying these streams everywhere. Really appreciate it. Avni Shetty, 100 rupees. Daniel, you made me think about things differently through your stand-up. Saurabh, you're an amazing comedian. Thanks a lot. I will accept both of those things. Sagar Mane has said, is Mike a person who's trying to buy Saurabh? You know, whatever works, man. If there's a guy called Mike who wants to hire me for a Zoom show, I'm happy to do that. And yeah, I will try and buy a mic, guys. Just, you have no comprehension how much little disposable income I have. So I will try and buy a mic, but it costs money. I will try and buy that circular fucking thing which happens. I will try and upgrade things as soon as I have some cash, which I currently don't. I have EMIs to pay and all sorts of stuff. Do you know what? You guys are very sweet. I really appreciate you guys coming out. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. Thanks a lot for tuning in, man. You're very cute people. I love you all. Marry me. Tell your family about me. And by the way, for all of you criticizing, this stream is going to end in the next 5 minutes. Okay? I finally figured it out. Okay? So You fuck you guys in the face. I figured out how to end the stream. You guys are really sweet. Thanks a lot. Keep coming in. I'll see you guys all the way till Sunday. Bye.